Shalom Akim, Shalom, Kal Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Kal HaKadosh. I send double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you Akim out there pushing the word sincerity and truth. It's the brother Ariala. On this lesson, I want to talk about mindset. As usual, we don't need to defend ourselves to these people, and there's a few reasons why you don't want to get into a spirit of defending yourself. All right, as the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah is leading us into the time of Jacob's trouble, it's important that we maintain a posture in the spirit. And one of the tactics that Esau uses is he uses victimization and criminalization, but he wants Jake to be reactionary. All right, he wants you to be reactionary, and so because he's getting you to react off of what he does, he's leading the conversation. He's leading what's going on. And right now, you want to keep Esau in defense mode. You want to keep Esau in the mode of having to figure something out. That's what we want to do. Now, we have this whole situation with the Jersey City attack, and there's reports now, it's hitting mainstream media. They're trying to link it to black Hebrew Israelites, And with that, I know brothers are talking about this, and we understood what was coming down the pipe. We had the whole announcement from YouTube about them cracking down on so-called hate speech and racism and all this, deleting brothers' pages by the pound. We've had basically this one movie with the whole St. Paul thing, which is talking about black Israelites as a terrorist group. And it's a funny thing, we were talking about this, and I made a statement that this movie probably won't hit the streets or won't come out until Esau pushes more propaganda about who we are. And because the whole, knowing that you're Israelite is kind of known, but it's not super mainstream. But they're going there with it. You know what I mean? They're going there with it. So we don't need to have no disclaimers. We don't need to be on the defense of whatever propaganda that Esau pushes. It's on him to produce whatever he's going to produce. It's on him to conjure up whatever he's going to conjure up. We don't have to go into huge defense modes about anything. All we need to do is continue to ask questions. And the questions is, why is all this rape, robbery, and murder going on? Why is the state of the earth the way that it is underneath Western Christian rule? Who's responsible for all the genocidal deaths that's happened over the course of the last few centuries? Who's in control of the major corporations and institutions that rule the world today in sickness and death and lies and deceit? Who controls the paradigm of free enterprise and capitalism and crony capitalism, that basically has created a dog-eat-dog, way of life where no one trusts each other. Everybody's out to get over on each other, where paperwork and lawsuits and litigation is at the forefront of any major idea or any type of enterprise. Who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for the state of the earth? This is the questions that the powers that be need to answer and focus on, not the black Hebrew Israelites. And this is the posture that I can want to maintain. The state of the earth is in its state because of the rulership of Esau, right, the so-called white man. And so I want to read a few scriptures so we can get some of the mindset from Yahweh Shah as we come into these times. All right, maintain posture. Anytime you're trying to get into a place where you're constantly defending yourself, you make yourself look guilty, number one. And number two, you allow the opposing person to control the narrative, or now they're in the driver's seat where they're asking you questions and questions. No. When Esau starts asking you questions, you ask him questions. And this is what Yahweh Shah did. Now, reading here in Matthew, the 10th chapter, Yahushua is giving the disciples mindset about, how, about where you want to be mentally as people start to come against you. Matthew 10 and 17 says, 16, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak. You're not coming with any type of pre-thought of defense like that. You know what I mean? Because you don't have anything to defend. You didn't do nothing. Okay? For it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Okay? And so we want to be mindful of the reason why we're out there on highways and byways. We're doing these lessons. We're reading the scriptures. We're studying and encouraging each other daily. We're doing these things. This is all preparation for these moments, I was talking with the brother. Prashad. We was going back and forth on, some of the tribulations he was going through, and it was just powerful to think about. He was just like, man, it was like everything that we had been doing this whole time within the ministry prepared me to be more circumspect, prepared my mind to be keen on what had happened to me in that moment, to where I saw everything out in front of me. I knew how to move. I knew how to read spirits. I knew who to talk to. I knew who to avoid, because we've been practicing having spiritual discernment this whole time. And so you're not just, we're not going to be just winging it, so to speak, in that time. You're going to be thrown into a situation, but you're not going to just be winging it. The Spirit is going to be guiding, and you have to trust that. Okay. Now, I want to give some examples of Yahushua when he's put in situations to where, he was being asked questions or pressured. Look and analyze how Yahushua responded. This is Matthew 15 and 1. It says, then came to Yahushua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? See how he answered with a question? He flipped it back on them. And this is what you have to do, not only to 2/3, because that's what Esau is going to do next. Esau is not going to come, with, he's not going to come with him. He's going to use so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to come against us, to basically justify his move, saying, see, other black people don't like them. All right, and it's gonna be the same situation, and you gonna treat them the same. You gonna treat Jake just like you would treat Esau. When they come in there asking questions, you ask them a question. And one of the things these Christians trying to come up and say this and say that, that's the easiest person to deal with, is the Christian. They got a whole bunch of questions that need answering. Okay? Let's move forward. All right. This is the book of Mark. Let's start Mark 11 and 27. It says, and they come again to Jerusalem, and he was walking in the temple. There come to him the chief priests and the scribes and the elders, and say unto him, by what authority dost thou these things, and who gave thee this authority to do these things? Pressing Yahushua. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, I will also ask of you one question, and answer me, and I will tell you by what authority I do these things. All right, you gonna ask me a question? Answer my question, and I might answer yours, and I'll answer your question. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? Answer me. And they reasoned with themselves, saying, if we shall say from heaven, he will say, why then do ye not believe him? But if we shall say of men, they feared the people, for all men counted John that was a prophet indeed. And they answered and said unto Yahushua, we cannot tell. And Yahushua answering said unto them, neither do I tell you by what authority I do these things. You see that? You see that? So we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful of how we deal. We have to be mindful of, not putting ourselves in a defense mode. Keep Esau, keep the enemy, keep the opposition on the defense mode. Maintain posture. Maintain posture. And the only way to maintain posture, or the main way to maintain posture, is you have to have a high self-image. You have to believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Therefore, you believe in yourself. So you exude confidence. And also, when you exude that confidence, all right, when you exude that confidence, you're gonna stand boldly. All right, you'll be able to be. What I'm searching for the word. Basically, you'll be aware. All right, you're not worried. You're not looking within yourself in a sense of worried about what people think or what they might say. All right, so we have to be mindful of all of that. All right, so let's read this. This is the second Ezra, the second chapter, and it's, scripture we always read. Second Ezra 2:46. Then said I unto the angel, what young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in her hands? So he answered and said unto them, it is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. All right, and that's the position that we're going to be placed in. We are not, our backs are not up against the wall, bro. Their backs are up against the wall. They have to conjure up propaganda. They have to create a narrative. They have to support the narrative that they create. They have to create the evidence to support the narrative. They got to find something. That's up to them. Okay? That's up to them. They're the ones that's going to have to do all that. All right? All right, so let's see this. This is Matthew 22, and let's see. Well, I guess I can read this one. Matthew 22 and 41. It says, while the Pharisees were gathered together, Yahushua asked them, saying, What think ye of Hamashiach? Whose son is he? And they said unto him, the son of David. And he said unto them, how then doth David in the spirit call him Lord, saying, the Lord saith unto my Lord, sit down on my right hand, till I make thine enemies my footstool. If David then call him Lord, how is he his son? And no man was able to answer him a word, neither does any man from that day forth ask him any more questions. You want to maintain posture. We consistency, and even how Yahushua dealt with the disciples whenever they was going through stuff. He was asking questions. He was leading the conversation. When you're out on the highways and byways, we are leading the conversation. We are the ones asking the questions. We're the ones that are maintaining the position of authority within the conversation. Okay? So maintain that mindset, Akyam. We don't need no disclaimers. We don't need to do a whole bunch of defending ourselves. We don't have to do a whole bunch of backpedaling and backtracking. They are the ones on the defense. All right, I'm gonna read this one last scripture because it truly highlights the mindset overall of how Yahushua was. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a cool thing when we see, it's just great examples. So we're gonna get Matthew 27 and 12. All right. 11 it says, and Yahushua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, art thou the king of the Jews? And Yahushua said unto him, Thou sayest, it's what you said. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? You don't hear all this propaganda that they pushing up against you? They saying you this, they saying you that. Now, what if Yahushua start jumping up? Man, no, man, he said this. No, man. Yahushua didn't do that. I didn't even mean it like that. That ain't what Yahushua did. Verse 14, and he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Okay? And that's how, that's the mindset, man. These people coming at you, doing all this, you don't have to do a whole bunch of tripping. It's up to them to prove it. And as you read this, because Yahushua was the way that he was, it was put back on the chief priests and elders to prove something. Alright, so when you skip down to verse 22, Pilate said unto them, to the governors and elders, not governors, but the chief priests and elders said unto them, What shall I do then with Yahushua, which is called Hamashiach? They all say unto him, Let him be crucified. And the governor said, Why? What evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, Let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. Alright, and so that's the mindset, man. That's the mindset. It's on them. They have to defend themselves. They have to come up with a question. So that the more that Esau presses against us and he uses all this propaganda against us, really, number one, it validates us that what we're saying is getting to him and that what we're saying carries weight. And it forces him to produce and defend a narrative that he's creating. So everything is on him. Whenever we're jumping into the conversations trying to defend ourselves within whatever they're creating, it allows them to lead the conversation. That's why you get Vocab Malones and all these people saying, do you condemn these things? Do you, anytime Vocab coming with that, you ask him a question. Alright? So, anyway, the mindset is to just trust in Yahweh Yahushua and know that the Spirit of the Most High is in control of all this. This is Psalms 46 and 10. Be still and know that I am Yahweh. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. So be still, Akim. Be still. Maintain posture. You answer their questions with their questions and lead the conversation in the Spirit. Don't have to get up and do a whole bunch of unnecessary defense tactics, because they're not going to believe in anyway, and they'll use it just to turn around and continue to press you on different questions and topics. Maintain yourself in the driver's seat. It's all good. We are in the control through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We're in perfect positions. Alright? Call hello Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Hashem Kal HaKadosh. Double honors once again to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to y'all. I'm out there pushing the word, sincerely and true. Shalom.